Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of what's going on in Corpus Christi, Texas. My name's Jerry Sansing. I'm the president of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association, and this is pretty much a show dedicated to that group. So what I'm going to do is get started with a problem that we've had with some of our members in the past. And my vice president, Mr. Jack Gordy, who's been the president of the Taxpayers Association in the past, and I have been designated TAP to take over, give everybody a little bit of break. But I'd like to say that for several years now, Mr. Gordy has been trying to have the city conform to the Americans with Disabilities Act, which they have not, over at Gulfway Shopping Center that's on Airline and SPID. Now, for months and months, he's been informing the city gurus down there, I guess that's what I call them, that real estate cartel, and asking them to please remove the palm trees out of the middle of the sidewalks on the Gulfway Shopping Center side of Airline. Now, he's had all kinds of excuses and been told that the city had a waiver for that. So finally he went ahead and contacted the Department of Justice, which is the controlling factor of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And on September 1st, Mr. Gordy sent this to the to the U.S. Department of Justice. He sent one on August 22nd. He got a response. Okay, or no, I guess they sent him the response from the U.S. Department of Justice on Civil Rights Division, which ADA comes under. Okay, so what they're going to do, and he has alerted the City Council of this, what the Department of Justice is going to do is arrange a mediation meeting with the city fathers, and I hope it's all the council members down there, along with the city manager and Mr. Risley or Risley, whatever he goes by down there, that quote-unquote city attorney who said that they had a waiver, but they couldn't produce a copy of it. And now the Department of Justice is going to come down for a mediation. And I think Mr. Gordy is going to ask for all of those trees to be removed, the sidewalks, the stumps ground out, concrete poured in there so that the Americans with Disabilities Act is conformed with, and our local residents that have disabilities can get down that sidewalk, which they cannot do now. There's not but about 16-inch clearance around those trees, either into the street or up against the bulkhead. So let's, I'll keep you informed as to what Mr. Gordy's going to do with that. I'm deeply appreciative of the man. He's very tenacious. So I'll update you on that. I'm going to request that I attend that mediation with the city, and I haven't met some of the city fathers down there, especially this new city attorney we've got, and I have some other issues with him also. He's the one that preaches that he's going to continue with a very expensive move to continue going after the 5 Friends of the Coliseum for $30,000. And, you know, I don't know how much he wants to spend to do that, but it sounds like Gestapo tactics to me. We want to shut these people up that have the unmitigated gall as American citizens, free Americans and taxpayers in this community, to voice their opinion about things, okay? Especially that tragedy of tearing down the Memorial Coliseum. So we'll see what happens with that. I need to meet the man, and you know, I understand he's something else. So anyway, I'm going to see if I can get an update from my attorney on that particular thing, and why they can't read a contract where it states that no one is going to suffer any damages, incur any damages whatsoever if a court order stop in the demolition of that building occurred. And they're saying that we cost them I think the great one, the former city attorney, Mr. Carlos Valdez, was after $65,000 from us in the beginning, and then they backed off on that one. And if you want to open that can of worms, Mr. Risley, whatever your name is, then you know, I've got some evidence that's going to knock you down. So that's not a threat. That's a statement of fact. Okay? If you really want to see what can happen to you, and you can spend a lot more taxpayers' money, and I guess that's what you like to do with your 21 attorneys down there and paying outside attorneys another $3.5 million a year to handle business. That's almost as big a mess as you have with Del Mar College, which I'm about ready to address here. That's another place that they need to have their attitudes adjusted big time over there. Okay, now, and then Jack also asked for why Del Mar College was suing the Attorney General for to prevent me from obtaining information I needed to defend myself, as my department chair and my dean and others at Del Mar College told some very blatantly false lies about me. Okay, so that one ain't over either. So what we'll do is I'll address that in a minute. But he was told that the statement that no governmental agency can request a reconsideration of an Attorney General's opinion, and then in the same document they have provisions where if a public entity or a governmental entity like this wants to have them retract their original opinion, then there is a provision that the governmental body can sue the Attorney General's office in the courts and take legal action in Travis County, Texas. So that one's interesting. But when Mr. Gordy said that he felt that it was illegal for them to do that, then they fired a letter back to him on August 27th from Tammy McDonald, Executive Director, Human Resources and Administration, and the College Public Information Act officer. Okay, I don't know what qualifies her for that, except a bunch of high-paid attorneys that she goes to. I don't think she's an attorney. She claimed to have an MBA and be an accounting guru at one time when a friend of mine, Mr. Ed Bennett, CPA, and I started looking into the books over there, which is an amazing, amazing story. Okay, now in the budget, we have had a problem in that over the years, Del Mar College has cropped up with surplus monies out of every year's budget for the last 11. Or 1 year they didn't. 10 out of the last 11 budgets. And I've read this on other shows, and this is a question. Is too much budget surplus a bad thing when it comes to government entities and so forth? Okay? And the answer is yes. Do you know what it means? So they're asking a question and then they explain it. It means that the government has collected more taxes than necessary for their spending programs. The problem comes when the government then keeps that money, spends even more, and continues to expect those same revenues year after year. And that's exactly what's happened. So according to the experts, then, you know, that shouldn't be happening. But it does. So I want some of you to start screaming and yelling here. And I thought I had a list of how much those budget overages were, the surpluses. I think I've got it in here somewhere. Here it is, okay? Surplus, 2005, $431,139. 2006, $3,460,000 some odd thousand dollars. 2007, $6,470,000. 28, they had a deficit of $1,200,000, and then on 2009, here's a surplus back at $5,248,000 plus. 2010 was $6,097,000. 2011 was $7,595,000. 2012 was $12,851,000 some odd dollars. 2013 was $11,280,000. 2014, okay, is $10,427,000, and those numbers came directly out of Delmar's published financial statements, folks. Okay. Now we've had no internal auditor for years, so what's happened these days is all of a sudden we've got Dr. Mark Escamilla. They've hired an audit fee company or auditor with an internal auditor. We've jumped from $43,557, okay, for 2015 for audit fees, and this next year the budget's been passed for $310,000. So I guess somebody finally figured out that now that the taxpayers have become aware of some of the shenanigans down there, then maybe we'll take care of things. Then we've got an internal audit service, okay? This was Dr. Mark Escamilla put this out August 12th after BS investigations. That's Sansing is the S, and B is for Mr. Ed Bennett, who's got a master's degree in accountancy and also a CPA and many years of accounting at very high level positions, okay? So all of a sudden now we've got Dr. Escamilla. He says, "Dear college community, we need to revitalize and outsource our internal audit function." Well, you need to revitalize it. I think you could probably hire somebody inside and not spend quite as much money. That's what I've been told by people in the know for various job descriptions and how much a man's worth in that capacity. Okay. And it's now the college has awarded the contract to Weaver Public Accounting Firm. Okay, goal of internal audit. Well, it's to cure these. I hope to cure and dry up these excess funds that they've had for years now. Okay, the surplus funds. And then it says the focus of the internal audit is quality of existing internal controls. Well, we don't have any quality in those right now, folks, from what I've been able to understand and I've been told through pulling up the amounts of money, okay? And then we've got complexity of operations, delegation of authority and segregation of duties, dependence on information technology systems, okay? Regulatory and compliance requirements, interest of management and the governing board. First steps. So they're going to go ahead and have Weaver begin working with Dr. Lee Sloan, who's the CFO and VP of Operations, and the Board of Regents. Now we have a man that's the chair or president of the Del Mar College Board of Regents, who preaches that he has had extensive accounting education and also had been in that business for a while, and he knows accounting. So why has he sat here for several years as the president of the Del Mar College Board of Regents and allowed these surpluses to go? I would think that if he was an accountant, he would already know that at the end of the year you should take your 1.5% contingency, which is I think state mandated, and put it where it belongs, and then take the rest of that amount of money, okay, and stick it into zeroing out the accounts, and then making sure the next year you don't have a projected surplus, which they have again this year, the 2016. Okay? And then we have Dr. Lee Sloan, the CFO and VP of Operations, does not have an accounting background that we can tell from resumes or from grade sheets and so forth and so on, transcripts. So I don't know where we're headed, but we're just going to spend a whole big bunch more money for internal control or internal audits, and I think that that's a good thing, so we can get some money. Now, with those surpluses, folks, we've got some problems. Now, Del Mar College faculty has not had a raise until this year. Well, there was a minor raise last year. Okay, I think it was a whopping 2%. But the American School Search, which is an online facility, website, and so forth you can go to get rundowns on various colleges, faculty and salaries and so forth and so on. Then Del Mar College, it says here, overall rating of the college is 2.5 stars out of 5. And then the quality is 1 star out of 5. That's the quality they have assigned to this institution. The safety is 3.5 out of 5. And the cost to go to school here is low. So they've got 5 stars for their cost. Okay? Now, when you look at this, we have, according to this one, 283 full-time faculty members at Del Mar College. And the average faculty salary is $27,000 on per year. Okay? Now, we're on a 9-month basis, but I guess they've extrapolated these up and include the for a 12-month period of time. Okay? Now, the faculty rank is here, and it says that Del Mar is below what's going on. The school average here for a full professor is 90,516. Okay, I would probably question that being a full professor and topped out. The Texas average is $134,183, which means there's a difference. We're paid 33% less than the Texas average. Now that's the average, folks. That's not the peak. Okay, associate professor 75.5, 100,000 and a few dollars on Texas average. So our associate professors are down 25% over the Texas average. Okay. Then we've got assistant professor at 66.5. Average state average is 87.6, and that's a 24% less than the Texas average. Okay. And then an instructor is 55.8, and $63,484 is the Texas average. So our instructors are 12% below that. Okay. And then if you take a look at the unranked teacher, and that's 52,000, 70,000 is the Texas average, so they're down 26%. And then it's got some other very nice statistics in here about, you know, how many professors and how much lower we are and so forth and so on. Now, we are accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, SACS as it's known. Okay? All right, so what we have is we have every 10 years we have to return for certification under that for accreditation, and there's certain things that have to be put out. Okay? And one of them is integrity, judgment of integrity. Now, the rationale for judgment of compliance is Del Mar College supports the primary principle of integrity, which holds that voluntary mutual accreditation is meaningful only if all members are committed to honest and straightforward disclosure about all aspects of their institutions. Therefore, we've been entirely candid about our strengths and our gaps. No, that's not a correct statement, Dr. Escamilla. I take great issue to that one. And then the compliance degree granting authority, judgment of compliance, and there's rationale for that. And then we've got a report that went out the last time about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was questioning the qualification of the CFO in particular, okay, which is Dr. Sloan. It states in here they're concerned that they have not had a trained certified accountant, either internal auditor or CPA or anything else over there for a number of years. And I guess when this came out, that didn't bother Del Mar College or its administration or its Board of Regents at all. They continue on with a bunch of garbage. Okay? So I'm just telling you that I don't see that there's much integrity with that. if you can't pay your faculty members and you keep telling them year after year we don't have any funds that we can use to give you a raise. Okay? Now, I filed a grievance against Dr. Escamilla a while back for a couple of reasons, okay? And those reasons were, number one, that I wanted to find out why the department chair, my department chair, and my dean could take free reign in lying to me and about me, okay, filing a disciplinary action letter. And then when I asked for all of the information that I needed to rebut all of those statements, then the school shriveled up and they said, we don't have to give you that under Public Information Act request, and that we're going to go ahead and spend a lot more of the taxpayers' money, and we're going to write for an opinion from the Attorney General. Now, when that opinion was rendered, I did not know about it, and at that time, Dr. Escamilla, I had appealed that particular garbage that they were preaching, okay? And I did not want that letter to go in there, not that I really give a rip. But I went ahead and asked for an open meeting for the appeal of that disciplinary letter. That's comes within Del Mar College purview. Okay. Now, rather than have to re-explain this, I was contacted by a reporter. She's the editor now, chief editor of the college newspaper, and she did a story about this. Now, I was forced into that open meeting, okay, the disciplinary action meeting that I had appealed, and I was told that I could not get any information from the AG through Public Information Act requests, even though they did not tell me that the Attorney General said to give it to me. They forced the meeting. I wanted it open. People were refused the right to go in and videotape it, and then I had the attorney in there go down every single item that I'd asked for in the Public Information Act request. She said she was the representative of Del Mar College, and she was conducting that hearing, and she asked me why I wanted all of those items, which is totally illegal under Public Information Act. And I have filed that with our esteemed district attorney here, Mr. Mark Skirka, and I haven't heard one word from him, and it's been almost 2 months. So, you know, this whole thing stinks, folks. So I've asked for that information under discovery, since they said it was a quasi-judicial hearing, and I have not. And now what happened is we're spending a fortune suing the Attorney General's office in Austin, okay, for asking them to withhold that information. So I think the young lady, Samantha Dowdy here, who wrote the article in the Foghorn, did a good job of this, and this came out on August 24th, which is the latest edition of the Foghorn. I think another one's due out this week, but I don't know if there's any more detail about this. But let me just read this to you. It explains it very well. Del Mar College has filed a lawsuit against the Attorney General's office after Department of Natural Sciences head Dr. Jack Southard filed a notification of recommendation for disciplinary action form against biology teacher Dr. Gerald Sansing on February 4th of 2015. The disciplinary action form, according to a copy of the form provided by Sansing, accused Sansing of 3 things. Okay? Failing to communicate with Southard except by email and or handwritten means. During a physics program review, refusing to communicate with Southard and sometimes completely ignoring inquiries about the status of the review. On January 6th, after requesting a piece of equipment be moved to Dr. Robert Hatherell's class, Sansing allegedly told Hatherell and Southard to go straight to hell. Okay? And I'll go back if I've got a minute and I'll explain some of these. In response to these claims, Sansing filed a Texas Public Information Act form for each of said accusations to defend himself in a hearing regarding the disciplinary action form. I received an email from Del Mar College President Mark Escamilla, stating that my hearing was going to be held on Monday, May the 18th, 2015 at 1:30 p.m., Sansing said. I still hadn't received my forms that I requested to properly defend myself in this meeting. I asked if the meeting could be pushed back longer, but Escamilla refused and forced the meeting. Okay, according to Sansing, at the hearing, supposedly an open hearing, friends of his were here with cameras and sound devices to record the meeting, but were met by police officers hired by the college to ask the individuals to turn off any of these devices. This is against the laws of an open hearing. Okay? All right? Now, you are free to record an open hearing through note-taking, sound and video recording devices, and photography, as long as it is not disruptive according to the Digital Media Law Project. Okay? Now, according to college's legal counsel, Augustin Rivera Jr., the hearing was not a meeting to the governing body, so the person in charge of the hearing decides whether cameras are allowed. The purpose of not allowing cameras in the hearing was for confidentiality purposes for both the faculty member and the people holding the hearing. However, audio recording was allowed. Now, if it's an open meeting, why are we worried about the confidentiality of it? I said I didn't give a damn about holding it confidential. I wanted it wide open in the public. The Attorney General's office had ruled that DMC must give Sansing these documents on May 1st, 2015. The Attorney General ruled that the litigation exception did not apply at all to the requested information. The attorney-client privilege did apply to the subset of the requested information identified by Del Mar College as privileged. In response, DMC hired William Christian from the Graves, Daughtry, Heron, and Moody firm to file a lawsuit. According to the Public Information Handbook 2004, the purpose of the Public Information Act is to maintain the people's control over the instruments they have created. The Act requires the Attorney General to construe the Act liberally in favor of open government. Okay? What are they truly afraid of me finding in my Public Information Act request that they would have to sue the Attorney General's office, Sansing said. At the hearing, Sansing was found guilty and has appealed the notification recommendation for disciplinary action for him. There are certain exceptions under the Texas Public Information Act that allow government entities the right to withhold documents, Rivera said. The college felt that under these circumstances, this exception applied. All I want to ask you, fine folks over there, and I say that tongue-in-cheek at Del Mar College, and your attorneys, what are you afraid of? Okay? Why? What is there in that information I requested that is so damaging to you people that you're willing to spend a fortune to withhold it from me? Okay? Now, I don't understand it, ladies and gentlemen. That college over there throws money down every rat hole that comes along. They are not open to the public. They lie and cheat and steal over there as far as I'm concerned. And all I can tell you is I don't have to put up with it. Okay? And I'm not going to put up with it. So I wish you would pick up the phone and call your regent over there, your elected official that's supposed to be taking care of that. Why don't you go straight to the president of the board or the chairman of the board of regents? He's an accountant, self-professed, and so forth and so on. I've never seen his degrees. But why don't you ask him, why in the hell have we got such a mess up over there? And it's day after day after day that something else comes up. And then they're writing off millions of dollars in bad debt, like $89,000 to the Coastal Bend Council of Governments, and they say they've got no paperwork at all. I've got a signed statement from the AG's office and the person over there, Mr. Buckner, stating that they have no idea, no information, no paperwork, no records that would indicate that they ever owed Del Mar College $89,000 plus. So if I were you out there, folks, I know I'm mad as hell about it. Okay, I'm an employee over there. I can't get raises. I'm 33% below the state average for my salaries, and they're still playing games with us. That is not integrity. Dr. Escamilla, and that's going to Sachs. I'm about winding down with 9 or 10 seconds. When the beeper goes off, then my videographer can go ahead and cut it right there. Thank you for joining me, and